Well, we've got the said Kingsley Makhubela joining us in studio right now to really shed some light in terms of what is happening with Brand South Africa, as well as this issue around suspension. First question, Kingsley, first welcome, but are you suspended?
Faith, thank you very much. I'm not suspended. There's no suspension. I took a leave of absence for a month, 1st of April last year, 20th of April last year to the 20th of May. Since then, I've been kept out of work illegally. You can't have an institution that does not operate within the legal framework. They had the prerogative to suspend. They didn't, up to now.
So let me read the statement by Brand South Africa, because they're saying the CEO is on suspension while he was going through a disciplinary process, and he's only been cleared of one charge, and you've got out of the 4, and the other 3 charges obviously will then be investigated. And as we heard from the chairperson of the board, that she's already filed her statement, and also the fact that they'll be overseeing this process around your suspension, and those 3 additional charges will still be interrogated and investigated, because the disciplinary process was actually existed whilst the charges were also pending. So who is she lying by saying
Faith,
she's lying?
She is lying.
She's lying.
She's lying.
Okay. Why is she lying? Why is she coming out on ENCA and probably other mediums and lying about the fact that you've been suspended? Why is she lying?
Remember, I have said previously that I do give them permission to give that letter of suspension to media houses, because people have been asking about this. But fundamentally, the problem here is the issue of corruption at Brand South Africa, that I discovered that people were manipulating tenders, millions of rands of tenders that they were manipulating. And
who's those people, Kingsley? I mean, already you've been said that
it's part of the staff members.
Okay, so who? So you here now, you're clearing your name, you're saying that I'm not suspended. There's a lot of corruption within Brand South Africa. So as the CEO, you were investigating these people. So who?
I was about to, no,
so
I was about to institute forensic investigation. One of the person was the head of procurement. She resigned subsequently with immediate effect. Because these are the people who are manipulating tender. But I must say that the chairperson of the board, she's highly conflicted in this corruption thing. Is
she also implicated in this corruption thing?
There are allegations, serious allegations against her. Actually, absolutely. Her deputy has resigned. Deputy chair of the board has resigned in protest when she started to realize that the chairperson actually has been lying to them. She resigned with immediate effect. It has put the organization in such strain because of corruption. And I think because I was about to institute this forensic investigation, it would have really gone deep to find out what is the level of her conflict. She is conflicted.
So there's evidence to that effect. Later, Kingsley?
I don't. Please ask her to give it to you.
Okay. So you
and you know what happened, Faith? I took them to the CCMA because you can't keep an employee outside work for indefinite period. When I took them to the CCMA, they then decided to institute these charges. I mean, the charges, I'm just respecting the current presiding officer. The charges, you'll be shocked. And I'll come back later to tell you once the process is
again,
over.
The statement says here that, they cannot actually, because of employer-employee confidentiality, they will not disclose the other charges that have been placed upon you. So now I'm asking you, so you've been cleared of the other charges around sexual harassment. So tell me about this charge, the other 3 charges. What have you been charged for?
Faith, I would prefer not to tell what are the other charges, and I would prefer to come once this process, the disciplinary hearing.
Are you guilty then of those charges? Okay, it's fine if you don't tell me. Are you guilty of any of those charges?
I'm actually innocent of them. Some of the things happened. Oh, yes. Some of the things happened without even my knowledge. Because you have within Brand South Africa a clique of people who are manipulating tenders. When I was about to act, they went to whistleblowing. Faith, tell me, where have you ever had a whistleblowing, anonymous, of sexual harassment? That's why it was dismissed at the hearing, because they went to drag somebody who's not even related to that. But fundamentally, we need to deal with corruption as an institution. People are quite quick to go and dig on things that are not necessary. This is a witch hunt. That's why the deputy chair of the board has acknowledged that, and I hope she'll come forward, because she's obliged as part of governance to say all these charges that are laid against Kingsley are actually unfounded. They must be dismissed.
Okay, then tell me about this whistleblower. So tell me about the uncovering of the level of corruption within Brand South Africa and some of those tenders and procurement processes. You're not giving me which charges it's been instituted against you, and yet you're claiming that you're innocent. So which tender which procurement deal was irregular that you were investigating? You don't have to give me the names. Have you already given?
Let me tell you, there was a 45 million tender, which was inflated by 10 million.
To who?
To a company.
Which company?
Called Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah.
So Avatar was supposed to was bidding for how many millions?
45 million.
45 million.
Yeah.
And then they inflated
the tender.
Okay.
After inflating the tender, and the decisions were taken outside the tender committee meetings, which is totally irregular. It's actually a violation of the Constitution.
Who was taking those meetings outside of the normal
That's what we needed.
process?
That's what we needed to
But
investigate.
as a CEO, is it not your duty to know that these people are doing that? And
there were 3 managers who were doing that. Their names are there, are known by the board, and up to now, Faith, the board hasn't taken action against them.
Okay.
After that, I re-advertised the tender, employed specialists. They went after specialists to tell them that this tender must go to company X, despite the fact that
the same company,
Avatar, same company.
Yeah.
They did not qualify. They did not even make the cut for the next round. And they went to tell specialists that we want this tender to go to this company. Now, that constituted serious irregularity. And I needed to institute a forensic investigation at the time. At that time, a lot of names came up. Whistleblowers who stood up against this company, they were exposed. I mean, the CFO is suspended as I'm talking to you. The CFO discovered that Avatar overcharged Brand South Africa by 5 million. And when she raised this matter, the legal advice that I received was that we need to recoup them. I was even given a case law. Now, when I was told that I would be investigated because of whistleblowing, I told everyone that they must defend the CFO. They never defended her. She's now dragged into a disciplinary hearing, suspended, on allegation that she spoke to me. How do you really suspend a CFO for speaking to me? When there are people who have manipulated the tender, nothing has been done to them. Abused the whistleblowing, nothing has been done to them. Where are we going in terms of building capacity of state institutions? That's where the problem is. And we need really to go back to the drawing board to build state institutions. They've tried to tell me that, Kingsley, now the relationship is broken down. Maybe we need to pay off Arifis to take the money, Faith. I'd rather leave empty-handed rather than take the money and leave corruption to thrive when I have the authority as an accounting officer to deal with corruption.
Okay, so we're going to leave our conversation there, but I mean, you've made some really serious allegations and you've implicated, number one, the chairperson of the board of Brand South Africa, Avatar, which is the company which is alleged to have inflated prices for a deal and a procurement deal with a Brand South Africa. So all of this that you've said now, I would hope that on the other side of it, you are squeaky clean, because they're going to come back and say, how can somebody who is actually guilty of these 4 charges come back and say...
I listened to the chairperson yesterday. We asked her, is he suspended related to all this corruption? She said, no, he's not involved in the tenders.
Okay. Well, Kingsley, we're going to leave our conversation there. Thanks a lot for joining
us. Thanks, Faith.
Tonight, David. Suspended or not suspended, Brand South Africa CEO Kingsley Makhubela giving us his side and his take on the story in terms of his suspension as well as those charges leveled against him or not suspension.